Rob squared.
Oh,
Lightning bolt.
I was a little premature there.
Little. A little bit. Yeah. Damian Brown, premature. We're going to finish up the recaps here, week 5.
Yep.
Sorry Dave had to leave us.
Thank you for coming by, Dave. That was
David,
fun.
thank you so much. It was great. Hopefully that was start of a few we can do this year.
Yeah.
And,
it's always fun to have our friends on, too, especially the people that are watching and supporting us.
and the person responsible for us bonding.
He started my butterfly effect. Butterfly effect that got me to become friends with you guys.
It's a good butterfly effect, unlike the movie.
They can be. It's I just started the motion of me becoming a bigger sports guy and getting my good friends here.
I know, a bigger sports man in a different way, but all right. I see you're also showing your guns. I commented. He's trying to really show off.
Yeah.
Do you have a female viewer that we don't know about that's going to be tuning in? Or
Well, I masturbated with both arms earlier, both hands, so I figured I got a pump going right now.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
All right. Jags Titans. Speaking of perverted shit, Urban Meyer picking wedgies. This is perverted.
This was I would say,
our lock of the week.
Yeah, in the beginning I was so on him, and you rightfully were a little bit concerned
because the wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly.
AJ Brown played.
Yep.
Titans rolled,
and they had just lost to the Jets. So going into it started off at 4. I think I only go up to 4.5.
Yeah, never got up to 5 ever, and it was 37-19. 37-19, so that's an 18-point victory, and it actually was. I'd say that score represented the game. They doubled them up.
Yeah, I mean, for second or third play from scrimmage, the Jags, the new acquisition, Arnold, fumbled and was returned for a touchdown.
Yep.
So.
Fumble 6.
I think they went down and scored after that. James Robinson had a game, but what do you got?
Was
for
it
the
a
stats?
fumble 7? No, it was a fumble.
It was fumble 6.
Well, last week everything was it would be a fumble 6 because everyone missed every extra point.
Yeah.
So the stats were kind of boring. I have Derrick Henry being very good at football. Breaking news, right? That's a topic they do on First Take. Is Derrick Henry good? Is he elite?
Yeah, he's been moving up my my charts here a little bit. Yeah.
He's unreal. He had 29 carries for $130 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Didn't have a catch in this game. Probably just because they didn't need to.
No, they don't.
Why would they ever throw the ball?
Yeah.
AJ Brown came back, only played 64%. Had a quiet game, 6 targets, 3 for 38. They didn't need him. It's more just the impact of him being on the field.
Yeah. Now, once he's out there, the safety's shading him, and that allows Henry. Yeah.
We were just talking about off camera here was a little bit of our concern for Ryan Tannehill. Well, we think it'll get better, but he was drafted inside the top 12 everywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 9 to 11.
Once they acquired Julio, he was a commodity.
And he's been pretty bad. I don't know what he is like ranking wise fantasy, but he has 1 touchdown, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown. So that's 6 touchdowns in 5 games.
Well, the thing is,
that's worse than Jared Goff.
Derrick Henry's gone 3 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns in that.
And where your value was, you're getting some value in Tannehill rushing. He only has 1 rushing touchdown this year. What do you have, 7 last year?
Yeah.
So he has 7 touchdowns in 5 games. That's fucking poo.
I think they'll settle in.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
I'm not excited to have him as my fantasy quarterback, but
2 quarterback superflex, buy low for sure.
Yeah.
Like, definitely don't sell him. Don't drop him.
Yeah. Julio's still a stud. Don't forget all the.
If he was your starter though in a 1 QB league, it's probably time to move on. If you already hadn't.
Unless you could, unless the rest of your roster is so good that you can afford a little patience, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, who free agent wise?
Well, Derek Carr would be a guy you would have scooped up, and now it's like I'd rather have Tannehill going forward, right? Yeah. All right, Jaguars. Urban Meyer. They were a dog in this game, kind of like Urban Meyer's a dirty dog.
Ooh.
And they go to London this week, just as a little preview of their game. Now, they do have bars and strip clubs and girls in London, right?
I'm sure they do.
Is that why he wants to make the trip?
I'm guessing that, I don't know the COVID rules, but I had seen something. So this is, if you're worried about Urban Meyer going out and doing something dirty, I saw something, it's NBA, but Toronto, when NBA players travel to Canada, they're under the threat of arrest if they break the COVID protocol.
No shit.
So London, overseas, and then Canada generally have similar ideals, I suppose. So that I don't know what the rules are there, but that's something to consider.
Do you think he owns a restaurant there? Because if he does, he's going to it.
Yeah, I think if he does decide to go out, and I think that'll be the end of his American life. He's not going to have a family to come back to.
Well, I was thinking,
so he probably would buy a restaurant there just because.
Have you seen those little disguises, the like Charlie Chaplin things, where it's like the glasses and the mustache? Yeah. So like, can someone buy this motherfucker a Charlie Chaplin little disguise? So it's just a picture of him out, totally fucking Urban Meyer.
Also give him some rubber gloves.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I heard he ate wings after that without washing his hands.
Oh, he's probably looking at that.
That's punishment enough for him.
All right, let's get into the Jags here. Urban Meyer.
That is the Jags.
Yeah, right. Urban Meyer, you're trash. We hate you.
I will make a prediction right now. He's going to get fired on the way back from. They're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
Upcoming. They're playing. They're in London. They're playing Miami.
Yep. Miami needs that win.
Yeah,
real bad.
I like Miami a lot this week, and I think this is the week that Urban gets. Yeah, I think this is the week that Urban gets cut.
Yep. And divorce filed the same day. Let's go. Sorry, Urban.
I saw that parlay pending. So.
Yeah. All right. So James Robinson had a big game. That's 3 in a row big games. I think 20 points in 3 straight games. He had 18 carries for 149 and a touchdown, and 1 catch for negative 2 yards. Apparently, that's all he does is have 1 catch for negative yard. The crazy thing is that shows why Urban Meyer's such a bad coach. One more bad Urban Meyer thing is that drive where they actually were making the game close, if you recall. Mm-hmm. They put in Carlos Hyde for that whole drive.
On 4th down.
And the thing is, it's one thing to play him for the drive. Then you get down to the goal line. He's obviously fatigued because he played 9 straight plays. And they kept him in there for the 3rd and 4th down and ran the ball with him. It's like, how about you bring in the player that has been your best player and that's fresh on this drive?
Yeah.
Just Urban,
going off for $150, right?
So Robinson played 68%. Hyde played 25%. Hyde didn't do much, 5 for 13. Robinson averaged 8.3 yards a carry. Yeah. So definitely, if he had a rough 2 weeks. It wasn't his fault. They just weren't playing him. He looks like the James Robinson from last year. Going to get all the touches, and it's only going to get better when Urban's gone because Carlos Hyde might get cut then. Yeah. It's like, why do we even have Carlos Hyde? Let's bring in someone young maybe that needs to learn the playbook. All James Robinson all day. Let's fucking go. Yeah. Buy low. It would be buy at price right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I still think the fact that he's attached to the Jaguars, you're still going to get a discount on him.
Yeah.
And plus of his struggles early on, right now I bet you there's a lot of people thinking sell high on him.
Right.
So
not me.
But I think if you get into this is a trade. If I were to try and trade with this manager, it's not something where I would shoot out a trade. It's a conversation I would have.
Yeah.
Because I think they would try and sell high. If you shoot out a lowball offer, there's probably not going to be much dialogue. But if you talk to him, I think that you can talk him into the reality of James Robinson, which we think is good, but most people I think are expecting other people think it's higher.
They think it's boring. James Robinson or Joe Mixon rest of the year?
Mixon.
Yeah, for sure, but I feel like he's bridged the gap a bit because the Mixon injury a little bit, and I
appreciate your optimum because I know you have him.
I tried getting him from Zavala earlier today. James Robinson. And
I like Robinson. Robinson was the one guy that I've said like he's the one guy you can rely on. But no, not close to Mixon yet.
So receiving wise, it was bad. So after the DJ Chark injury, everyone was just like, "Oh, Marvin Jones, wide receiver 3 now." He's done nothing since that injury. In this game, he played 93% of the snaps. Chenault played 73%. And Jones had 5 targets, 1 catch for 25 yards. That's not great. And Chenault actually only had 3 targets, 1 catch for 58 yards, which is that's super strange.
So he doubled up his season production in 1 catch.
Yeah. Pretty much. I still like Chenault rest of the season. Not Marvin Jones. Chenault over Marvin Jones for sure.
I think them losing Chark was huge because I know Jones is known as a kind of a deep play guy, but Chark was the reason that I think Chark was the guy that was taking the top off the defense and commanding a lot of. Yeah, I do like Lawrence though. I think Lawrence
making strides,
and generally I don't know what their PFF rank or whatever is, but I think their offensive line is good. It's above average. I think the Jaguars' offensive
average line. At worst. One other point here, Dan Arnold. So take it for what it's worth. After the whole wedgie thing. Urban Meyer was praising Dan Arnold after 1 week, and he played like 25%. Obviously, he was coming to a new team with like 3 days.
Yeah.
Had a couple catches in that Thursday night game. Had 10 days for the next game. He played 73% of the snaps, and he had 8 targets, 6 catches for 64 yards. Did lose that fumble, but he looked good. And like that's way more production than any of the receivers.
Well, we discussed this. We said, what's the reason? Like, he traded their last year, the 2020 first round draft pick for Dan Arnold.
And a 3rd round pick.
And basically, what our discussion was, they brought in Tebow. So obviously, tight end is a big position for Urban Meyer. And he went and traded this guy and then praised him before, praised him after.
Right.
If Urban Meyer's still around, Dan Arnold's it's very interesting.
Either way, he's going to play, and they need playmakers, and I like him.
And right now, I'm sure a lot of people are looking for tight ends.
Yeah. Well, Andrew Luck is. Let's save up these and do like a little
barrage.
Barrage.
You're going to shotgun it, like hit one for sure.
Pats. Pats at Texans. This was also just a dreadful game. 25-22. Texans were apparently completing deep balls all day long. Like every time you look up, Chris Conley's catching a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, they did the what's the play? The flea flicker.
Yeah, it was the weirdest flea flicker too. It was very boring.
On Belichick too. I bet you he was fuming.
Yeah, that hurts, dude. And the crazy thing is, this over under was 39.5.
Yeah,
way over.
Yeah,
right. Because that's a low number. And
that was based on last week. Houston getting trounced by Buffalo,
and the Pats defense looking good against the Bucks, and the Pats not scoring on the Bucks, who everyone scored on. So the running back situation is a mess. Damian Harris fumbled. He started off hot, right? He had a nice touchdown run. Then would have had a second touchdown run. Fumbled at the freaking quarter-inch line. It wasn't a fumble; it was a touchdown.
It may have been a fumble, but how do you?
And they called it a touchdown. And so he went from having what would have been 16 points. And to losing a fumble, getting hurt, losing a fumble, and only ending up with 9.
Yeah. So because the second half, bruised ribs and a shoulder injury, I think. Yeah. So he was playing sparingly in the second half.
Yeah. So Harris played 33%, Bolden played 38%, and Ramondre Stevenson, who was in the doghouse fumbling week 2, is now back, played 34%. So it was a 3-man committee, and Harris had 14 for 58 in that tutty. Bolden had 2 rushes for 25, Stevenson 11 for 23. And I just saw that Harris isn't practicing today. So next week it's probably an avoid if you can.
Houston. They're playing next week.
No, they just played Houston.
They're playing.
They're playing the Cowboys.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
So that's a tough one. I feel like the pass catching back has the most value in that game.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wide receiver again. There's the fantasy. It's dead zone right now with them because they have Jacoby Myers, who's doing okay for 5 targets, 4 for 56, 91%. Aguilar, 3 for 32. Hunter Henry actually played very good. He had Hunter and Jonnu both played 63% of the snaps, evenly distributed there. But Hunter had 8 targets, 6 for 75 and a touchdown, and Jonnu had 2 for 27. So it's time to abandon ship on Jonnu. We've already done it. It hurts us because I've loved Jonnu for 2 years now. You loved him this year.
Yeah, I just don't. I still think that the offense is still trying to find its identity. I don't feel like from the plays I've seen, the games I've seen, or the portions of the game, the Patriots, they still don't feel comfortable on offense. It feels like there's been
game managing
circumstances every week that have not allowed them to get into a rhythm yet.
Yeah, some bad weather too.
So maybe like in the future, drop Jonnu, but in the future there might be something there.
Well, and if Hunter gets hurt, if one of them gets hurt, that tight end becomes top 8.
True,
because you mix that with Mac Jones getting more comfortable, opening up the offense. So definitely keep an eye on these guys. If they're deep benches, maybe roster them.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. Real quick in the Texans, there's really not anything. Brandon Cooks, start him. He had a bad game though, 3 for 23, which is crazy because Davis Mills had 312 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. You think usually he gets almost half the production of the passer.
Yeah.
And he got fucking 10%, dude.
Yeah.
Chris Moore had 5 for 109. Chris Conley had 3 for 84. David Johnson was the 3rd leading receiver. Running back wise, drop them all. Mark Ingram had 16 for 41, but he only played 44% of the snaps. David Johnson had 2 carries for 5 yards, but did add 5 for 46.
That's multiple weeks that Johnson's had 4 or 5 targets.
Yeah, I think.
Something. I mean, I think it's going to start. It looks like my gut feeling says it's going to start trending more for David Johnson because they're going to continue to be down. Cooks is the only viable offensive option they have. So
they don't have a tight end. It's crazy. Like,
so
but we still both like Philip Lindsay, like long term.
I think he's the best running back on the team. But with this team, I don't know that matters.
Somehow they're actually being competitive in some of these games, which is a testament to their coach, Macaulay Culkin, baby.
Yeah.
Well, they beat the Jags, so
a win's a win.
Yeah, win's a win. Bears Raiders. Another controversy, right? Jesus Christ. What's going on here, guys? John Gruden, he out. He gone.
Yeah.
He's not only that, he is getting taken off the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
If he was going to be in the Hall of Fame, he ain't. If he was in the Hall of Fame, he's probably out. The man can't go to the grocery store anymore. Now he just has to go do all his grocery shopping at the liquor store.
Poor guy. I mean, he just finished building his $4.3 million mansion, so he's going to be pretty isolated.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But whatever. Just forewarning: don't use email at all.
Well,
at all, right?
All right. Real quick, my opinion on this is one. Of course, there's no, especially I don't care if he's for the NFL or whatever. There's no place right now for that type of language. Granted, it was a different different era pretty much back then, even a decade ago.
Super bad era.
Yeah, we were talking. I don't know. Did we mention this on the pod?
No, but Fagel and
so we're talking. I was watching Superbad yesterday, and how many? Oh, this is gay. That's gay.
Yeah, right.
All and those guys. I would say Jonah Hill and Michael Cera are pretty far. They'd be described as far on the left.
Yeah,
I'd say.
And this is 2009 too. So
it's 2007, 2008. But either way, it's within that same the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Everything was different back then. Regardless, my point is if you have those feelings, that sucks that you do. But don't put them on. Don't put them on the internet at all. Don't use a work email, regardless of which work it is, to use them. If you have those conversations, have them privately with your family or your friends. Whatever.
Yeah. And maybe shout out to us. Maybe don't put it on YouTube for everyone to see.
Well, I think
we've been better.
We're not necessarily insulting people. We're making
we're making fun of ourselves.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't have anyone's looking at us. If they are, then it's good for us.
Well, either way, we're not putting something that
it's never towards somebody.
With him, it's just if you have those feelings, don't share them, and especially don't put them on the internet on a work computer.
Nope. All right, Bears, Raiders. Bears won 20-9. Kind of a shocker. Low scoring. Kind of a shitty game. I guess that's what the Bears' strategy is this year.
Yeah.
Just muck up the game, make it like a hockey game.
Yeah. Well, I did hear. So apparently, most of the players knew that there was more emails coming out. So that's what the
distraction.
That's what the narrative is right now. That they this game doesn't matter because we're losing our coach. It doesn't.
Right. Why would they? Yeah. Okay. Nice. So Bears running backs killed it. So Damian Williams was the obvious pickup after Montgomery's injury. He played well, 16 for 64 and a touchdown. Had that awesome touchdown that move.
Yeah,
it was slick.
Yep.
And Khalil Herbert though. So Khalil Herbert played 48. Herbert played 53. Williams played 48. So pretty much even snap share. But Herbert was 18 for 75, and Williams 16 for 64. So, and I just read a report today that Damian Williams has multiple injuries.
Yeah.
It's a knee and an ankle or a knee and a shoulder. Not major injuries, but when you start talking multiple, concerning. And maybe that's why the workload was what it was.
If he's still hurt, it's not going to trend the other way.
Right. So it's looking at a 50-50 backfield split, which I don't like for either. So, if you're in a deep league with multiple flexes, PPR for sure, fire up Damian Williams.
Yeah.
If you're in a 12-team league with two running backs, I feel like you can do better.
Yeah.
Against the Packers, tough matchup. Maybe not so much the run D of the Packers, but just not ideal.
I don't know that I'd like Herbert at all against the Packers. I think Williams is obviously
the play,
yeah.
But Herbert's more of a guy to keep an eye on because if Damian Williams missed time, obviously
you might be able to a couple weeks out from.
I'm rostering him in a few.
Yeah.
Wide receiver wise, it's ugly. Fucking Allen Robinson lost me some money. His over-under was 4.5 catches this week.
Yeah. I
was squeaky wheel. Raiders defense, I figured game flow would be on my side, even with Fields at quarterback. Yeah. And Fields only threw the ball 20 times.
Well, he had a ton of yards, 120, I think.
Who?
Fields.
I thought you were talking about Allen Robinson. 111.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not great. Allen Robinson had 5 targets, 4 for 32. he hasn't eclipsed 35 yards, and I think he's got over 35 yards once this year.
Yeah.
You drafted him in the late second, early third. That's not you. I'm saying people did. That's you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. We love Allen Robinson as the player. He's in a contract year, which we love, but the quarterbacks just can't get him the ball, and they're not throwing the ball.
Yeah, reminds me of how I described with Trey Lance for the 49ers. This is their excuse. If they know they're not going to make any noise, potentially miss the playoffs if they keep Jimmy G or in this case Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
To me, it's all right. We got to develop the kid. Now we might only win 3 games, but we got to develop the kid. So now the coaches get to stay around another year.
So Mooney has been bouncing back a little bit. He had a 100-yard game or whatever last week, but 3 for 35 on 5 targets. Obviously you got to hold Robinson. Definitely drop Mooney.
Yeah.
And it's just there's not light at the end of the tunnel here. Yeah. Unless Dalton gets back a starter. But at this point, why would we do that?
They already announced.
Yeah, and we're winning games right now with Fields. So, and we say we because we're, quote-unquote Bears fans.
Yeah, we beat the Detroit Lions and then
Yay!
a team that half the team didn't show up to play.
Right. Yeah. Raiders-wise, it was a dumpster fire. Carr didn't have a good game, 206 yards and a pick. Josh Jacobs looked pretty good, though.
Yeah.
And he had 15 for 48 with a touchdown and added in 4 for 19, so he's getting some catches. 69% of the snaps. I feel like the worry with Drake is gone, which if you could redraft right now without the toe injury, Josh Jacobs would be a third-round pick because the offense is better than we thought, and the Kenyon Drake thing, they're playing him as special teams right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they gave him $14 million. Don't get it. You could have got James Conner.
Things might change now, different coaching staff.
Yeah. I just feel like Jacobs is a clearly better player. So it's nice that they're actually using him like that. So he deserves to get the Joe Mixon treatment. He deserves to get 80% of the, and the passing work too.
He needs to be healthy. He's been hurting the whole time. Yeah.
But in the past couple of years, it wasn't health that has kept him off. They was not putting him on the field.
Yeah, his rookie year he did really well, and then
last year was like 60%, even though he had the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So receiver wise, Brian Edwards quiet, but 76% of the snaps. Henry Ruggs, I do too. He had that really bad drop.
I like Edwards as well.
Ruggs 84%, Renfro 75%. So they're all just pretty much playing 80%.
Yeah.
Renfro, typical Renfro, 8 targets, 6 for 56. PPR league, wide receiver 3. Actually catches some touchdowns. He's going to give you 5 catches every week. China route, really, really nice floor there though. Henry Ruggs is impressing me. After that first week, he only had 3 for 51 on 3 targets. But what I like is he played 84% of the snaps. Now his snap share has been hovering around 75, but it's not going down. And he hasn't been making boneheaded plays. Yeah. And he's the only playmaker they have outside of Waller. And actually Waller isn't the guy going down the field though.
Yeah.
So, and Renfro is not that guy. Mm-hmm. Edwards is kind of like a tight end himself. So Ruggs is very important to that offense.
Yeah. Any concern that, to me, it felt like Gruden was coming out almost like a FU attitude. Like it seemed like they intentionally were taking 4 or 5 deep shots with Ruggs. Mm-hmm. Do you think that might change at all with the new coaching staff coming in? Well,
no,
I don't know who they promoted to be the
one.
intern,
the special teams or one of those coaches.
Yeah, that to me, there's going to be some sort of change, right?
So the one problem, the worry with Ruggs for me is now the new coaching staff. Maybe not so much this year. Isn't tied to him as much.
Yeah,
because they didn't draft him. But the point is, the man's talented. Like, he's not a great route runner by any stretch.
Well, he's a project, so if someone comes in that doesn't want to deal with someone else's project, right?
But he's played well. I think he's earned a spot this year.
Yeah.
From what we've seen. He's made some big catches.
I like him.
And he's very important to that offense, just in his role. Deshaun Jackson role, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily translate to fantasy. I'm not telling you to start him, as he's... You could do worse as like a bye week fill-in. Because at any week, he can catch a 60-yard touchdown, which makes your week.
Well, he gets 4 or 5... air yards. He's looking at a 40, 50-yard pass every game.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, now this is a good one. We've had some poopers right in a row here, right? So this is gonna get your nipples hard or whatever the hell, and your guns out. Sun's out, guns out.
Oh.
I love that saying. It's the worst saying ever. Browns at Chargers. This is a fun one. I believe there was 7 touchdowns scored in the fourth quarter.
100 total points.
Fucking nuts, dude. And it almost went to OT. It would have eclipsed the 100-point.
Yeah.
And we drew the parallel to a couple years ago, prime Rams. Well, Rams with golf in their prime, and Rams Chiefs. That was a Sunday night game. It was the same. It was like 48-40 fucking 3.
I remember that game.
And it was like everyone's football's changed. Like, I like that change. That was a college football game, right? Just up and down, up and down. Would you rather see that, or do you see that 29 game? I want that game. I want this game. So 42-47, Chargers win. comeback fashion. The Browns had this game multiple times. A lot of things to unpack here, fantasy-wise. First of all, Mike Williams.
Oh,
Woo!
Yeah, stud.
Oh, I'm going to start with the Browns here, but I just had to say that I do worry around. The man is, he's a full-grown man. Okay?
Yeah.
If he was a chia pet, like your house, it's like Jumanji when the whole house becomes a fucking tree.
Yeah.
That's your chia pet, Mike Williams. He just,
Okay, yeah, all right.
I don't know what the reference was, but
yeah,
thanks, man. We'll start with the Browns here, though, and then we'll get to Mike Williams later.
Okay.
And then again later, and then...
Yeah.
All right, Nick Chubb. Let's go.
Yeah.
You weren't worried. And I see why you weren't worried, because he did his typical Nick Chubb, and he broke off a 52-yard touchdown or whatever it was.
The difference was he scored a touchdown this week.
Yeah. It was... he played 56%, which also is nice. Better than what he... I know you hate the snap share, but 56, and Hunt played 44.
I just don't think it's relevant for...
No, I just don't like seeing Hunt in games they're winning playing more than him. It's alarming to me. But this one was better. 21 carries, 161 yards and a tut. And he actually had one catch for 9 yards.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking 170-yard game.
Yep.
And a touchdown. And he should have had another touchdown, and they had him in the game, remember, on 3rd and goal. And then I think it was the Chargers called a timeout, and they brought in fucking Hunt.
Yeah.
And Hunt scored.
Yeah.
So like, if they didn't call that timeout, they were going to run the ball.
Yeah.
That changes the narrative there. It would have been a monster game, which, better days ahead, same days ahead, right?
Yeah.
24 points, what you expect from Nick Chubb. Shut me up a little bit. I'm still going to ask you about it.
Just a little.
Any worry about
it?
it?
There's no completely shut you up. So
no, sorry. It's impossible. But, okay, Kareem Hunt, though, fucking man's on fire. 2 touchdowns. 12 carries, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns, adding in 5 catches for 28 yards. In PPR, it's a close discussion right now. I mean,
he's an RB1 that's stuck on as a backup.
But right now in fantasy and PPR, he is like a back-end RB1. I think him and Chubb are probably even in points because he's getting his catches.
He's what people were hoping Pollard would have been after Pollard's start.
Yeah.
Hunt's doing it.
Right, yeah. And then the fact they're scoring all these points is awesome, too.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield had a nice game after the last week, which it was terrible. He 23 of 32 for 305 and 2 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles. Actually, he did fumble. He just didn't lose it. Really nice game. David Njoku. Jesus Christ.
Future Cardinal.
We've been talking about David Njoku all year, and I hope so. I feel like more Zach Ertz, but
they picked up someone. The Cardinal. Side note: they picked up someone on their practice squad, but they are still potentially looking for a tight end. Anyways,
so Njoku 7 targets, 7 catches, $149 and a touchdown. Holy shit! What's crazy is Hooper actually played 72% of the snaps, and Njoku only 64. So actually was out-snapped by Hooper, and we were wondering if Hooper was playing, and all Hooper did was just catch a 2-point conversion, nothing else.
Yeah.
So we need Hooper to get hurt for Njoku really to bust out. A lot of people are going to go out and pick him up, but
or the opposite
do that.
Too.
Yeah, opposite too. Don't buy into this though as much because how often they're going to be scoring in shootouts where they allow 47.
Jarvis is going to be coming out.
Jarvis is coming back. I did want to talk about Odell Beckham real quick. Wasn't a great game. Actually, it was a terrible game. 3 targets, 2 for 20. In a game where Njoku just goes nuts and all those points.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I'll say he's getting healthy because he played 81%. And so here's the 3-week snap share, 64, 79, 81. I like that. Definitely a buy low for me.
Yeah.
That's because what is the buy low? You're going to get nothing for him, right?
That's an interesting one.
No, the problem is it's name recognition, but I feel like it's also the other way where...
Yeah, that's going to drive up the price a little bit. But
maybe the other way, dude, because people are just sick of Odell. Like, he's injury prone, he's fucking not producing, he never produces.
I guess if you're an Odell owner right now, I would assume
you can get anything.
You have to start him, right? Because of the name.
Yeah.
So if you can get out from under... Like, that's how I feel right now about... Obviously, Robbie Anderson's not in the same stratosphere, but like...
Because of last year.
Yeah, exactly. I traded for Robbie Anderson... And I'm like, well, he has the potential to blow up. Like, I've seen him already this year score a 60-yard touchdown. Like, he has the potential to do that twice if the offense can start going. But it keeps screwing me because I keep starting him and he gets 2 catches for 18 yards. Like,
but it's like the allure's there.
That's what I'm saying. So, for me, if someone comes and says, hey, I want Robbie Anderson, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, take him.
I'd rather have someone that I don't feel obligated to start that has maybe a little more upside.
And Odell could be in that same realm.
That's what I'm saying.
And here's also the thing about Odell is that he likes to get shit on. True.
So, fantasy-wise, what is
the
correlation here?
Well, Hunter Renfrow, bring it full circle.
Renfrow.
Right now.
Yeah.
No, it's like, for me, I'll always start Odell over Renfrow because that's how I play fantasy.
Okay.
But it's a bad decision Because Renfro has just as much of a chance to score a touchdown. Yeah, he's not going to catch an 80-yard bomb, but he's always going to have 5 catches.
It makes me think of like how like when you look at my receivers in one of our fantasy leagues, it's like Renfro, Kirk, and Rondell Moore. They've all scored like 70 fantasy points.
Yeah,
but really they're not. But like, if I had Odell Beckham, you'd be like, why don't you start Odell over Renfro or over Kirk, right? Like, but even though, right, it's kind of like that.
Odell's sexy. Those guys.
But it's a problem that even like I love those guys I just described: Renfro, Kirk, Rondell. But if I had Odell, I would be like, I'm starting him. And these guys are fill-ins. So it's even though I'm on the opposite side of the fence, the name recognition alone is it's a problem, really. I'm sorry.
All right. So Chargers now. A lot even more to unpack here because wow, Justin Herbert.
Well, Mike Williams had a pretty quiet game.
Well, what just sucks is that Mike Williams we talked about it last week. He had that one catch for 9 yards. Lost me about 6 leagues that week. But he had an easy 72-yard. Like the catches he was making today, Herbert just didn't overthrow him. Mm-hmm. So that line would have been, besides the other pass that were batted down on his shorter routes that game, you just take the 72-yard touchdown that he would have easily had. He would have had 2 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And then let's say this game happened, he would have freaking 7 touchdowns right now. I mean, he still has a great year. I'm saying the dud kind of hurts. But I'm not worried about the dud because we saw what it was. Yeah. Game flow and a poorly thrown ball where he torched the corner. Yeah. And what's he doing this year? Torching everyone.
I think we're talking about this a little bit with Herbert. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more. But with Herbert, we're comparing him to Mahomes. Like it feels like Herbert has the ability to make all the same throws, but it's between the ears. Yeah. It feels like he's young. He doesn't have that.
Herbert has more arm talent than Mahomes.
He didn't come in with like guys like Kyler Murray and Mahomes coming with just stupid confidence, right? Yeah. Because they've been the best at everything growing up.
There's a lot of questions
where
about
Herbert looks more like a nerd that happens to be good at sports.
Well, he's a sexy nerd, right? Like,
I'm not Clark his physical, not attractiveness. I'm saying he came in like he seems like mild mannered, like he's Clark Kent, but he has the ability to be Superman. Jeez, swallow your fucking beer. Mike Williams.
I know, right? So Austin Eckler is killing it right now, right? Yeah, you know I love Mike Williams. Austin Eckler is crushing it right now. He did lose 2. He had 2 fumbles and lost 1, but he had 17 carries for 66 yards and 5 for 53. So, and he had 3 total touchdowns. So, sell high right now on Austin Eckler because they're giving him too much work and he's going to break.
Yeah, I'll say even though Roundtree had a bad,
he didn't even play.
Yeah, I don't think he had a snap. For some reason, I'm just going to put it out there on record that Roundtree to me is the handcuff. When I saw him play against the Raiders, he looked good. He reminded me of AJ Dillon.
Yeah, and we can go back on the film early on in the pod. I was talking about Roundtree. You're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I was like, Larry Roundtree. He went to I don't know, it was Stanford. I don't know where he went, but
he's one of the guys that I'm hoping. Like you are a big. Anyone that plays with Simmons knows he's a big running back handcuff guy.
Oh yeah, that's all I do.
You'll get your good receivers, you'll get your quarterback, you'll aim for your good tight end, and then you'll hopefully get one RB like high end RB2, but then spam.
My bench is usually 5 running backs and 1 other.
I'm trying to inherit that philosophy a little bit.
It's a good one.
With I need it right now. I need something to happen in the next few weeks. I think Roundtree, if Eckler gets hurt, Roundtree could step into not an RB1 role, but a startable RB2
goal line work.
Yeah.
And he has underrated hands. Yep. Joshua Kelly actually played this game, which he had been inactive all year. I'm not going to read into that at all. I don't know what Roundtree did. Must have missed a meeting or something. Yeah. So wide receiver wise, Keenan Allen, decent 9 targets, 6 for 75. He's been boring this year.
Disappointing. So still performing, but disappointing.
Mike Williams had 16 targets in this game. And it was just 8 for 165 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
really nice game. He already beat my my preseason prop bet of 5.5 touchdowns.
That's so nice.
It's week 5. He has 6 touchdowns.
So nice.
And he had that missed one. So yeah, it's again, I'm not going to be selling high on Mike Williams because I believe it long term. The worry is for me. The only worry is injuries because we see his role now. They're using him all over the field. He is more valuable than Keenan Allen in fantasy.
Would you trade Mike Williams for Stephon Diggs?
Yes. Oh yes. I would trade him for
Chris Godwin.
probably still yes, but that's close.
Mike
Ridley
Evans.
for sure. No, I don't like Mike Evans.
Okay.
So
let me give you one more. Robert Woods.
No.
Cooper Kupp.
I'd probably have to.
Yeah.
But
Cooper Kupp's been on the same tear.
Yeah, and
like,
Cooper Kupp's more believable
high
though.
for high.
Right, he's more believable, and yet no one would do that trade
because Cooper Kupp is the RB or wide receiver one, and we're technically on the depth chart.
Mike Williams is
still
too, which I actually like for him because there's no point in time are they going to be shifting the coverage to Mike Williams just because Keenan Allen's a pro and like he's going to torch you one-on-one.
Well, when it comes to deeper play, yeah, they will with Mike Williams. Like if they're going to if the Chargers are trailing, I think it's less likely Mike Williams will have a big game. I think Keenan Allen's the big game guy then
because he's the volume guy.
I think
what I like though is
helps Mike Williams.
Right now though, Justin Herbert. He's playing. He's balling.
Yep.
And not fantasy, he's balling, but in real life, I'm watching them. He's figured out the game a little bit, and he's diagnosing the defense right.
Yeah.
And when he sees, I said this in the preseason, dude. Like Mike Williams is one of the best red zone receivers in the league. He has to be. He's 6'5". He's a fucking monster. He jumps high, long arms, great hands, strong.
Yeah.
When he sees single coverage, he is looking like what he's doing now is he's looking off, so he knows where he's going. And he's looking Keenan Allen's way. If Mike Williams out, and he's just like, okay, free money, dude, which is what you should do, right? And a lot of quarterbacks don't. And he's learning.
He's getting more comfortable,
and
for sure.
Mike Williams is the perfect player for his skill set, like I said earlier, dude, because he's big. He's got a big arm. And Mike Williams, the problem is that he always gets hurt because he plays so fucking tough. It's the same thing as Claypool, right? Like those guys are so physical. They don't know how to land because their bodies are too big. It's, like Zion Williamson, bro. Why is he always hurt? Because he's 250 pounds and he has a 42-inch vert.
Yeah.
So,
real quick, before I forget this point, I'd say if I'm a Mike Williams owner, my biggest concern isn't Herbert regressing. I think it's Eckler not performing because I think a lot of these deep shots are based on the play action.
The running game.
So if the running game starts to struggle a little bit, that might hurt. I think that's where you'll start to see Keenan Allen perform a little bit better, and Mike Williams still have good games, but not. Yeah, right now he's lighting the world on fire. So
he is. The tight ends, real quick. Jared Cook killed it last week, right? Everyone's picking him up.
Yeah,
we said it. Don't do it. Don't do it. 3 targets, 1 catch, 29 yards.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Won't do it. Donald Parham. So Cook played 67%. Parham played 53%. Parham, same kind of stat line: 2 targets, 2 catches, 29 yards, but he had the touchdown. He looks really good.
Yeah.
And if anything happened to Jared Cook, Parham. Ooh, he's 6'8", dude.
Yeah.
And he's a red zone fucking guy. Really? Or also, maybe, like you always do the opposite position handcuffs, something happened to Mike Williams.
Oh,
God forbid. I don't want to say this, man. But Parham, maybe more play.
I like you were on Guyton a couple of podcasts.
I was.
I like Guyton too.
He's playing a lot of snaps. He's just not getting. Last year he had 5 touchdowns on deep plays.
How many we have left here?
A couple games.
Take a quick break and then I have to piss.
Yeah, let's do our
I have to tinkle.
We'll start the next episode with a throw.
No, let's do it right here. It's not that bad.
Okay.
We'll end it right here. Go ahead. You're 1 for 1.
Bah!